Our next guest, you might know from Outlander, Blood of My Blood, one of the biggest TV shows on at the moment. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, Jamie Roy.
Jamie Roy!
Jamie Roy. Jamie Roy.
I'm Jamie Roy. I play Brian Fraser.
Jamie's story runs so much deeper than what you would see on the screen. This isn't just a behind the scenes of Outlander. It's a look at the man stepping into the spotlight for the very first time. What has been the darkest time?
Just the small questions, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't work for almost 2 years, I think it was. I always find that good art divides people. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present.
What would be your advice for young actors?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, without being cliched about it, like at the start of this, you said, are you driven or dragged? And you'll be dragged if you don't have a strong why. And I tell people that sometimes, they just tell me to fuck off.
What would be your dream girl?
My dream girl. Oh man. When I was younger, I used to have this massive crush on.
What's the weirdest date you've ever been on?
We met online. She was an actor. She would not stop talking about acting the entire night. And I would give her the benefit of the doubt, right? I was like, okay, cool, right? It's something that we can bond over to start with, but like, let's, you know,
branch out here.
Branch out, digress on something else. Coming up with like the most obscure things I could talk about, just far away from acting as possible. And she would still find some way to bring it back to acting. And I was like, fuck, man, like what?
It's on your job as well. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Come on.
Can you imagine like two dentists going out and being like, so what's your favourite tooth? What's your second favourite tooth? Do you have a favourite tooth?
Before we start this episode of the podcast, if you can do me a huge favour and hit that subscribe button, 5-star button, like button, follow button, whatever it is, wherever you are, I'd really appreciate it. It helps us so much more than you know, and the more follows and subscribes and all that kind of stuff we get, the more incredible guests we can get on the podcast. But without further ado, my name is Harrison Brown, this is the Into the Mind podcast, and let's welcome Jamie Roy. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Maybe happy to be here. Finally, yeah.
We made it happen. So, I think when I was kind of doing my research on you, and I kind of know you as well, which definitely helps. I feel like there's a perception that when someone sees you on the screen, they're like, "Oh, you got lucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you got, you know, there's luck involved." It's the same with the rugby team. The rugby boys that come on, they're like, "Oh, he's lucky because he got picked."
Sure.
But they don't see the hours and hours and years of work that went on before they got picked.
Mm-hmm.
So, first question is, what happened before the Outlander storm came around?
Oh, what happened? Oh man, I mean, what didn't happen? I feel like I've lived so many lives already that haven't just been to do with acting. I mean, if I go back all the way to, you know, kind of what we were talking about before, like going to uni, you know, went to Strathclyde Uni. I went there originally to study international business and accounting. And
That's a pivot.
May have fucking tell me about it, yeah. And I think I lasted 3 years doing accountancy. And then it was in my year abroad at Canada that I realised after Canadian tax law that accounting was not for me. I actually burned my textbook on my last day of class and almost got kicked out of the country, but that's another story for another time. Yeah, and then so it was after that I kind of realised I was like, right, I don't want to do that. So my fourth year, I just focused on international business and entrepreneurship because that was a little bit more me, you know, like creative and stuff like that, you know, making businesses and just making something because I've always kind of enjoyed creating.
Is it because you were in control of it that you enjoyed it?
I think so, yeah. Just like, especially with accounts, right, it's very black and white for the most part,
yeah,
you know, and it's very numbers, and I'm good with numbers, but it's just, there's not a lot of space for creativity in accounting, right? If you have an accountant who's creative, it's probably not one that you want to be with. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of them, but I think they do dodgy things maybe. So yeah, I think there was always kind of something to do with acting that my brain was maybe telling me, my body was telling me. And yeah, fast forward a few years, I started taking acting classes when I was in Scotland, while working full time in an accounting firm. Not doing accounting though, thank God. I was doing something else. And then I got the chance to move to the States. And after that, when I was moving to the States, I said to my parents, I already had a job out there, but I said, look, I don't think I'm going to do this job. How about I try acting instead? And both of them were actually like, all right, cool.
Really?
If it makes you happy, then do it. Try it. And if it works, then great. If it doesn't, then, you've got something to fall back on. So it was really nice to have their support from such an early stage. And yeah, from there on, this was, what year did we move? 2016, I think it was.
Okay.
I decided, I started taking classes out in America, learning how to do this acting thing. And I fell in love with it. And then I decided that I was going to be an actor from then on. So fast forward, a few years, I'd worked at Disney, I'd worked at Universal, the theme parks in Orlando, which was great fun. And honestly, a great place to learn your craft. I was doing shows 5-6 times a day in front of a live audience, speaking an American accent, like not being able to break character, even though the guys who I was working with tried to get me to break character all the time. It was just a really good training place. And then I moved to LA, was lucky enough to book a couple of TV films. And then once I did one of those, they just kind of snowballed, and then did a bunch of those, to the point where I think I did my 5th one, maybe 4th or 5th, and I said, right, enough of these. The next thing I want to do is something where the story really means something, because as good training as these movies were, and I got to meet some fantastic people on them, and both crew and cast, it just wasn't the kind of stories that I wanted to tell, and that's why I got into acting, was to tell like really good stories that mean something. So I said to myself and my agents and my manager at the time, I'm not going to take any more work until it's something I really believe in. And I didn't work for almost 2 years, I think it was, between when I stopped that last film and then when I started Outlander. I think it was like 2 years.
What did your parents think? Because surely if they're sitting there looking at you and you've had 2 years of virtual unemployment, were they? What was their reaction?
So I was doing other things during that time, like to pay for things, and it was very much living month to month. We get to the start of the month, and you pay your rent, and then you'd be like, all right, how am I going to make next month's rent? Because I can't afford it now, so we'll figure it a way. So I was doing all different stuff. I was doing catering, like cater waitering events, which was a great job. I met so many cool people doing that. I was also doing corporate team building things, where I would go to companies like in Seattle and all West Coast America, to take people around these adventure games, we call them. So it could be like mystery hunts or murder mysteries or kind of motivational speaking sort of thing. So that's how I paid my bills, so to speak, between that time. And I was very determined that, like I said, I wasn't going to work unless it was something that it was worth it, because the last film I did, I kind of got shafted with, because it was a good script,
right?
And when you finish something, you go in to do the ADR after it, right? So you get to see some of it, and ADR, for people who don't know what that is, audio dialogue replacement, I think it means. But basically, you talk over your lines to give it crisper audio.
Oh yeah, it was a bit like what we're doing now with
exactly,
right?
Yeah. And I remember going into the booth and then seeing some of the stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I'm really happy with this. It's going to be great. And then when it came out, they totally changed the script from being my story to another character's story, and it made my character look really dumb and stupid and weak, and it totally wasn't what we set out to do.
Okay.
And
I guess that's an image thing as well.
Exactly, yeah. By reflection, it reflects badly on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, that's what made me swear off. But yeah, during that time, I was, I was just doing all these jobs, any jobs I could, pretty much to pay the bills. And then Outlander came along, and that was the one, and here we are.
Through that period, and this is a question that I've asked so many different times because I think it kind of dives a bit deeper. Would you say that you were driven or you were dragged?
Driven, 100%. Yeah. Because I knew where I wanted to go. I had friends who were successful, who had done the thing, and I've always thought, if one of my friends can do it, then I can do it as well. And living in LA at the time, people love it or hate it, but I always find it so motivating because you're surrounded by billboards. There's an energy to the place, like no matter where you look in LA, there's always something creative going on.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that just like really, really inspired me. And then doing the catering at the same time, like the people who are employed there are, a bunch of people who want to be actors as well.
Okay, so it's like the stopover.
Yeah, so you're surrounded by such a really good community, really strong community with people who are also driven. And the way I viewed it was like, well, if I'm resenting this point in my life just now, but there's someone next to me who's driving themselves through it, well, they're the ones who are going to be successful and not me. You know what I mean? So yeah, in that sense, I always knew what I wanted. I always knew that I wanted to be on a good project, tell a good story, and yeah, that kept me going.
It was interesting what you said earlier about the kind of they changed the script in the last movie and it kind of it portrayed your character in a bad kind of light. Between you and your manager, do you specifically go for roles that are within a remit that you have outlined? Is that how it works?
It depends on the stage of your career that you're at, right? So during that time when you're just starting off, when you get, it's funny because so many people ask you like, why did you take this job? Like 9 times out of 10, it's like, because they offered it to me. Because I had money. To. Yeah. So yeah, when you're first starting out your acting career, it's difficult to be picky with jobs because it's so competitive and there's really few of them, and the amount of people who audition, and for you to be lucky enough to have landed the job and be offered it, most of the time you say yes. Now things, I have a little bit more leniency with what I can do. Like I can be a wee bit more selective, I think, so I can turn down things which I know are just not a good fit. But then I also say to my team, my agents and my manager, like, these are the sort of roles that I want to go for. Yeah. And those are the ones that they'll actively pursue,
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense. And then who was the inspiration? I mean, I remember being in school, and when you're in school, it's like, it's either actor or musician. Like that's the 2 biggies, because there's the famous people, right? Was there a specific actor that inspired you to do acting? Like, was there a performance that you saw that you thought, fuck, that was beautiful?
Yep. I still remember it was when I moved to the States and I was living in Miami for a couple of months, and I watched Filth for the first time. Have you seen that?
Oh my God. So James McAvoy in that is fucking incredible.
I think it's his best work. It's really, really, really special movie. I loved it, and I drank, I think it was, given the nature of the film, I was drinking whiskey while I was watching the film, and I honestly think I sank like half a bottle of whiskey while watching that. And the movie finished, and I got up and I started dancing around my room as the song was playing. I think Love Really Hurts Without You by Billy Ocean plays at the end. Yeah. And I was dancing around my Airbnb to this song, because after that I was like, I want to do this. That's the sort of thing I want to do. Yeah. And it was his performance in that movie that made me want to do it.
This is getting really nerdy, but there was a scene in it where he kind of breaks for the first time, and he confesses to this blonde lady with really blue eyes, can't remember her name, that he was like, I think there's something seriously wrong with me. And that was the point that I was like, oh my God, this guy's acting is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, that's a scene. Is it the one on the stairs with Imogen Poots?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Great. I know that movie so well.
So I've watched it so many times, but it was a funny one because it was so divisive. Like there was people that were like, that movie sucked, it was horrible, it was dark, but that's kind of what it was meant to be.
I always find that the good art divides people, and if it really divides people on both ends of the spectrum, then everyone's going to talk about it. Yeah. Whereas if a movie's just really mid, nobody really talks about it. So is it really doing anything? People are like, oh yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't great. That's not going to sell anyone. If someone says this movie was terrible or this movie was fantastic,
you're going to see it either way.
Exactly. So like, well, I want to see how shit it is, or I want to see how good it is. There's an episode that came out this season, and it's the lowest ranked one on IMDb, but it's probably actually one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's episode 6, and the reason why I think it got it really divided people. It was just like case in point, because it was such a difficult watch. It was almost like a horror film over the course of 60 minutes, and it is really difficult to watch. But I think it's because of that difficulty that makes it so good. So yeah, I'd much rather be in something which was on one of the two ends of the spectrum, I think.
If it is on one end of the spectrum or the other, does it actually get more views in the long run? Like, see if you were to look at the views, break it down. If like people are saying it, let's say they say, "Oh, this is shit. I don't like this." Does that actually mean in the long run it's going to get more views just because of the divisive nature of it?
I think probably historically, yeah. I mean, when you look at things like some of the the worst movies of all time, like which have become cult classics, like The Room. Have you ever seen The Room?
Wait, remind me, what's it about?
It's
What happens in it?
what's his name?
I probably have at some point.
I forget the guy's name, but it's known as one of the worst made films of all time. But it's become this like cult classic.
James Franco is a
Yes, so that was the one
recreation.
Yes, they did. Was it a recreation or something? But it was James Franco and he played the guy. Oh, it's really annoying me. It'll come to me like in 20 minutes or something. I'll be
2 in the morning.
But something like that, right? A movie which is so bad, but then over time, people have been like, "Oh, it's a cult classic now," and it's just gathered more and more views. So I guess probably. Whereas a film which is just like, just really bang in the middle of the road, I think it just kind of fizzles out, and people just forget it like that.
You know what I watched the other day was the Zohan with Adam Sandler.
Don't mess with the Zohan. Yeah.
So good. But like that's to your point.
Did that age well?
Not with what's going on in Palestine right now. I'm not sure. But but that's so divisive because people were like, "This is the most stupid movie." A bit like Zoolander. They were like, "This is so stupid."
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it's so stupid that actually makes it so good. What was the point? Like, where did the breakthrough happen with Outlander: Blood of My Blood?
Oh,
also, that's BOMB. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Is that what people were calling it?
Okay, so the acronym is BOMB, right? BOMB. And they had that maybe for like the first week on the job, but then they changed it to Bob because they realized that they couldn't have all these emails circulating around saying bomb. So we call it Bob now.
Yeah. I'm just getting on a flight to Scotland to bomb.
Yeah.
Film bomb, which is pretty problematic.
Yeah, Americans' customs love that. I think the turning point was just after I put in my first edition. And normally when you send editions through, right, you send them away. You do your self-tape, which is, you tape it at home with a reader and you send it away into the ether space. And most of the time you never hear anything back. Very rarely do you ever get feedback. And if you get feedback, that's great because it means that either they like you or they want to keep you in mind for something else. But most of the time, you don't hear anything back. And it was the day after I sent my tape in that my agent called me and said, they really like your tape. They want you to tape again with some of these notes. And they also want to know if you're serious about this because they know that you live in LA, that you have a dog and you're settled there. And are you serious about coming to Scotland and to do this job? Because when I did my tape, I said I was in Glasgow.
Lies.
Yeah, lies. So many lies. But obviously with the power of internet, they just take 2 seconds to look on my Instagram and be like, oh, okay, he's in Los Angeles. So yeah, I think when I got that call and I was like, oh shit, right, they've actually taken interest. That's when I knew I was in with a shot. So I did a retape, which is a normal thing to do, sent that through. And then they asked me to come, I think it was a week later, to come over to Scotland and to audition in person. So I was over there for 6 weeks in Scotland doing that. So I did like an audition, and then I did another audition after that. And then I finally got to the final stage, which is a screen test they do. So I went down to London and they've got like a big professional camera set up like you would do in the studio or something. I had another actor there and I was doing the scenes there. And basically the purpose of that is to get a really nice polished video that they send off to the States, to the studios, to for everyone to see and make decisions, because it has to go through so many layers of approvals, from the studio stars and then also the people at Sony, some of the production people in the UK. Like so many people have to give you the thumbs up to get the job, right? So I think once I got to that point, the screen test, which I was so nervous for because it was like the biggest thing I'd ever done, and I'd heard of these screen tests before and what that was going to be like. I actually, once I got in there, and the producers were on Zoom, and they were like, "This is your time, so we can take all the time in the world, just." And once I knew that everybody was on my side, I was like, oh, and I could just breathe and let go. And it was actually I really enjoyed. I think I was in there for like 45 minutes or something, doing 3 different scenes, and I just really enjoyed it. And then once I came out of there, I phoned my friend and said, I think that went as good as it could be. And when was that? It must have been a couple of weeks before I found out, maybe. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I got the call when I was in LA, and it was 5 days before my 30th birthday, and I was at the golf course at the range, left my phone in my bag. It was a Monday morning, so I kind of like thought, okay, if I'm going to get a call at any point, it could be a Monday, so fingers crossed. So I left my phone in my bag, went and warmed up at the range. Just 7 minutes before our tea time, I looked at my phone and had a missed call from my agent. And I was like, okay, shit.
This is good or bad.
It's like, right, she's going to call me either way, because she'll call me if I got it, and she'd call me say that I didn't get it. But, so it's going to be good or bad news. So I'll call her back now. And she told me that they offered me the role, and I just fell down to the ground, just like in tears, and just was like, oh. And my mate came up to me, and he's
Are you okay?
he's like, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Like middle.
Yeah. And I was like, no, man, it's good. And then I said to my agent, I was like, this is great, but I'm on the tee now, so I have to go.
Priorities.
Yeah, so I finished the first hole without calling anyone, just to like kind of let it sink in. And then I started calling my family and stuff. It was, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, wow, this is actually happening.
It must be so anxiety inducing, like, because you describe this 2-year process of kind of not really having the right work. You're kind of working, but you're not doing acting as much. And then you get this breakthrough role, but it's like, it's just been built up over, when a dentist says you have a filling, but you're going to be in 2 months, and you're sitting there the whole 2 months, and you just get more and more nervous about it. So it's almost like the pent up energy of anxiety. Did you feel, was it anxious that you were? Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Chisholm Hunter. Now, Chisholm Hunter are a family-run luxury retailer in the UK. They have 30 stores across the UK, and they've been family-run since 1857, which is just absolutely incredible. Now, Chisholm Hunter have all the incredible watch brands that you could want from a luxury jewelers. I'm actually a watch collector, and I've got an Omega Speedmaster on today that I got from Chisholm Hunter, but they also do brands like Tudor, Tag Heuer, Vacheron Constantin, Blancpain, Breguet, and many, many more. Basically, if you're looking for a luxury watch, I'd head to Chisholm Hunter. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. One, though, specifically, is that they're authorized retailers of these watch brands. Now, unfortunately, in the world of watches, there are a lot of fakes kicking about, and there needs to be a degree of trust with your chosen retailer. And with 165 years of experience, all the incredible watch brands, plus the fact they're family run, Chisholm Hunter are the place to go. Never mind the fact that they're actually world renowned for their luxury diamonds also. And actually the cast members of Outlander Blood of My Blood are coming in, and they're actually getting some new Chisholm Hunter jewelry. As a thank you for listening to the podcast, we're actually giving you a 10% off selected lines at Chisholm Hunter. All you need to do is go to chisholmhunter.co.uk, that is chisholmhunter.co.uk, and use the discount code CHSUB, that's CHSUB, on the chisholmhunter.co.uk website for an exclusive 10% off selected lines. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and thank you to Chisholm Hunter for sponsoring this podcast. And without further ado, I keep saying that, without further ado. But anyway, let's get back to this conversation with Jamie Roy.
I think it was probably every emotion, I think, honestly. Like, there was definitely part of me which was like, all right, I've got the job. Shit, I have to do this now. Like,
this is real.
Yeah. Which I think you get with every job, honestly. I think if you're not scared before going into a job, then, the opposite of that is complacency. And you never want to be complacent going into something like that, because that shit will show on the screen without a doubt if you've not done the work. I definitely was nervous, but at that point, so that was April 23, April 23, that I found that out, and then we were meant to start in August, but then I got pushed a little bit, and then the strikes happened.
Oh, the LA strikes.
For SAG, and then that just stopped the whole industry. So we pushed our dates from August to starting in January 24, which honestly I wasn't mad about because I was getting into shape for the show, and they gave me even longer to get into shape. So I was like, okay, sweet, I don't have to like be as hardcore as I was, because at that point, you know, I had 3 months to, you know, get into really, really good shape. And then all of a sudden from 3 months, I got an extra 4-5 months. So that was nice. But it was cool because it allowed the whole thing to like settle in. And then during that time, I also went over to London again to do chemistry reads with a whole bunch of other girls for the role of Ellen, you know, my co-star. And that was great because I got to meet so many amazing actors, actresses doing that. And
that's interesting. What did you call that? Chemistry reads?
A chemistry read, yeah. So it's something that they put together. Sometimes shows will do it with, if you have like 2 main leads of a show.
Right.
If they haven't cast anyone yet, then maybe say they've got 3 guys and 3 girls, and they'll do like a mix and match of couples to see who's got chemistry, so who like works well and what kind of vibe that people are given. I was already cast, so it was just me, and then all these different girls would come through the door, and I'd do the same 3 scenes, and we would do the scenes, and they would ask me my feedback after. You know, they'd leave and be like, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
Not that my opinion really mattered too much, because
but it's who you gelled with.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
sometimes someone can be like such a good actor and such a good actress, but they just don't have that essence of the character, and it's nothing that they can do about it. You know, it's just something that's intangible that they have. You know, that it thing. You know, and then when that person comes in, and then you can feel, you know, it sounds kind of cliche, cringy, but like that electricity, like that spark.
Yeah,
it's so palpable. Because I didn't know that. I think when I went for my first day of these chemistry reads, I read with like 7 different actresses, and they were all brilliant. They were fantastic, and each one was so different. Exact same audition, but they just read it and interpreted it in their own way, and it was so cool to see. But I was like, oh man, I didn't really feel it with any of them. Like something like they're all good, I know that, but I didn't feel like in my head it was what this character was going to be.
Yeah.
And then came up to Scotland for a fitting one weekend, and one of the girls happened to be filming something in Edinburgh, and then she came through to the studio, and it was a bank holiday, right? So there was nobody there. It was just like 2 people in the whole studio, and then it was me and Harriet, because she was filming Belgravia at the time, and we did this thing, and as soon as we started, I was like, oh holy shit, this is what I've been missing. Like,
this is it.
It was like, oh, because it put me so at ease, because I was like, maybe it was me, maybe they cast me wrong and I can't click with anyone. But then as soon as we started working together, I just knew. I was like, it's night and day from everyone else.
That's interesting. I didn't know that they did that. They did chemistry. Well, it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
you're gonna click with some people. You're not gonna click with some people. It doesn't mean they're bad or good. It's just the way it is. Interesting what you were saying about the anxiety. So there's 2 things. One is getting into shape. I want to talk to you about that. I've got a funny story that my dad said about this, actually. He's going to kill me for saying this. But they actually did a test with actors, and they were measuring anxiety versus excitement. So they were on stage, I think they were in London, and they had 50 shows to do. And on the first show, they strapped them up with these heart monitors, and they said, what are you feeling right now? And before they went on, they all went, I'm shitting myself. I'm so anxious. I don't want to do this. And by the end, they asked them the same question. How do you feel right now? And they all went, I'm really excited. This is going to be really, really fun. And their heart rate throughout that time remained the same, but they just perceived the nerves as something slightly different. It's super interesting. You can do that with your brain, because it's the same thing. It's like, but it's totally up to you whether you say I'm excited or I'm anxious.
Yeah, I've heard that actually, and I tell people that sometimes, and they just tell me to fuck off. But I like it because it is a perspective thing.
Yeah,
and when you think about it, actually, both of those emotions are future facing sort of things, you know. So you're excited about something to come, you're anxious about something to come. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present. And it's something I have to remind myself all the time of whenever I'm feeling either, you know, down and low about something, or just really nervous. I'm like, well, then I can place where these emotions are, and then I can bring myself back to being present, and that generally makes me feel a lot calmer. But I do like that one because I had to tell myself that a lot actually during the first season because I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm not nervous. I'm just really excited.
As your legs or to your knees are trembling.
Fucking excited.
And how did the getting into shape come about? Because this is the story that my dad said. He said, I can't remember. This was maybe a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, and he said he was with you and you guys were at a party, and there was, for some reason, there was like a cake or a brownie on the table, and he was like, I could see Jamie just staring at this thing, but he couldn't eat it. How did you find it? How, like, talk me through the actual transformation. Did you need to eat a certain way? Like, how did it come out?
So it was one of these things that once I got the job, I'd always wanted to get into really good shape and to have like a period of time where that's all that I was focusing my energy on, you know. So when I got this and I had a timeline, I was like, right, this is the perfect time to really invest in my health. And I'd always been into the gym and things like that, but I never really pushed myself to see what my body could do. So I signed up with a personal trainer online, at Ultimate Performance. They've got a bunch of gyms all over the world. They're fantastic, second to none. Shout out to my trainer, Giulio Paolo. He's fantastic. I've been with him for, when did we start? I think it was May 23. And this is now, where are we? October? Yeah. So over 2 years we've been together and been on this journey. And he would program all my workouts onto this app. I would track everything, from my calories, all my macros, my steps, my water, my sleep, like everything. It got really, really scientific because he was like, how much do you want to put into this? And I was like, I'm all in, like, absolutely. So when you're all in like that, you have to be really meticulous about everything.
Like detail.
Yeah, very, very detailed. So you can adapt as you go along and sort of thing. So yeah, the foods were all, they were pretty, it was like healthy stuff, you know, it was like, you know, the classic chicken, rice, vegetables, but it was, I made sure to enjoy my food as well as much as I could. Like, so within the numbers that you get, so if you're on like, I don't know, 2,400 calories or whatever, I would make sure to have some foods which I would enjoy, you know, as well. So you can have pretty much whatever you want as long as within moderation, you know. So like if you want a chocolate bar, you can have a chocolate bar. If you want some fucking Haribo, you can have Haribo, you know what I mean? Like it's fine, you can fit it into your numbers. So I made sure to do that, and yeah, I just lifted weights 4 or 5 times a week.
And did you have a specific, like, because I used to do, this is before I dropped out of college, but I used to do some personal training. Did you have like a day split? Was it like, did you have certain muscle groups that you were aiming for? Because I'm guessing with the character, it's top half, it's abs.
Yeah, it was more of a holistic approach that I think we took, you know. So I had to start with, it was 2 upper body days, a lower body day, and a whole body day, and then that kind of blended into 2 upper body days and then 2 lower body days, and then once I was kind of getting into it, we upped the volume to 5 days a week, so I would do 3 upper days and 2 lower days. And then we've just kind of stuck around that sort of thing. So it's not been like the bro split, you know, of like chest and triceps or something. It's always been like upper and lower, because I quite enjoy having, you know, doing a push movement and then going into a pull-in movement, you know, like a superset sort of thing. And honestly, like, because I've been asked this question before, and they're like, well, how did you get into such good shape? And it's like, honestly, just pick something and do it over and over and over again. And as long as it's something that you can repeat, and you can stay true to and consistent with, then you'll get results. The thing that gets me is when people will do one workout one day and then another workout the next day, and it's like, oh, but I want to keep it fresh. And that's good, but it's not optimal if you're trying to, you know, track everything. Because if you do the same workouts for, you know, 6 weeks, you know, over 4 days, like a 4-day split, then you can track. It's okay, well, last week I did 10 reps, so this week I'm going to get 11. And then, or I did like 60 kilos on the bench press, so I'm going to do 65 the next week. Just numbers are your best friend when it comes to that. Yeah. And we just kept doing that, and I got really, really lean. I think I lost like 25 pounds
Oh my God.
From the start. And I was like really skinny, like really skinny,
That's
too
a
skinny.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was ripped. It was great. And then from then we just built up muscle to now where I've got a much better, I'm almost at the weight where I started, but I'm like 10% less body fat than I was.
Did that impact your mood at all?
Oh yeah. So to the story about your dad, right? That was when I was, if it was about 2 years ago, that's when I was like right in the thick of it. And I was so strict on myself. And, like I said, if you want brownies or you want something, you can fit it in. But I think at that point I was really just trying to push as far as I could go. Like I think the lowest I got to was like 171 pounds, which for a guy who's like 6'2" is really lean. Yeah. I think I was like maybe 7% body fat or something like that. But I was trying to see how low I could go.
Yeah.
And once you're at that point, all you can think of is your next meal. All you can think of is, oh, that brownie looks so good. But it also what feels better is coming out the other end of it and knowing that you said no to that, and you're like, oh, the willpower and discipline, and then that leaks over to other things in your life. Like if you've got that discipline for your diet, then when it comes to training or your relationships or friendships, you really become disciplined and like, well, I have to check in with this person because I haven't talked to them for a week or whatever. So I like how that kind of rippled out to other aspects of my life.
Yeah, it definitely is. See, when it comes to the gym especially, or cardio especially now as well, my mental health is so impacted by it. That I'll get so anxious unless I go for a run. And I know it's just pent up energy in my system. Like I need to release it.
Yep.
So I'm quite strict with how many days I go to the gym because I know that it will directly impact my work or the conversation we're having. I have less brain fog. And it's sad, like a lot of people just aren't educated enough in that to understand why they might be feeling a certain way.
Yep.
And a lot of the time it will be diet, or it will be the fact they're not, maybe they're sitting in an office job and they haven't got that, they've got pent up energy that they're not releasing.
Yep. Yeah. The thing that I learned, I've always loved walking, but I really, really learned to love walking and getting steps in because of my trainer, because one of the non-negotiables was 10,000 steps every day. And I would track it to the point of if I got home that night and I was on like 9,750, I'm like, oh shit, I got to get 250 more steps. So I do like a lap around the block. But there's nothing that can't be fixed, I think, with a really nice walk. I think there's something about just getting out into the fresh air, moving your body, stimulates some sort of thought processes or whatever it is in the body, and it allows you for emotions to come up. I've had some of the best conversations with myself on long walks,
especially hikes in Scotland.
Oh man, brilliant!
And actually, see the coaster you have in front of you. If you have a look at it, they'll literally be a Munro in Scotland.
Cairn Gorm. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
1,245. Ooh, that's a tall one.
I've seen it in your Instagram, you do a lot of hill walking, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Try get out there. I love the cobbler.
Cobbler's good, yeah. Nice and small as well. It's like doable, quite easily doable.
Yeah. It's not too bad. And it's totally different from summer as to winter. In winter time you can go up and there's like snow and stuff up there, which is really cool. But I think there's something about that one because you start by the loch and then you kind of zigzag through the trees, and then all of a sudden you come past the tree line and you're just in the Highlands, it seems like. Yeah. I always call it like the Lord of the Rings shot because I felt like every time I get through there, you're like, it's the open expanse. You're like, whoa, like this is a whole new world up here.
Yeah.
And I love that one. I've done that so many times. I'll do that once every few months at least, I think. Scotland
is just like there's so much negativity at the moment about Scotland with the way it's run, but putting that aside, it's one of the most beautiful countries I've been very lucky that I've traveled a lot of places, and Scotland it's so stunning.
Is it Norway that you've been to a lot?
Yeah.
Some of your pictures
Iceland.
there. Oh, Iceland, yeah. Iceland, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been to both, but anywhere I go, like there's always I feel like you always want to get away from where you're from to experience new things, but then you always end up coming back to it. And I always end up coming back to Scotland and being like, this is just, it's kind of unbeatable.
It's pretty sweet. Especially all the way up north, Harris and Lewis and stuff like that. Mate, some of those beaches are
stunning.
Insane.
Yeah. Have you been?
I've never actually been,
need to go.
Which is really bad. But I've gotten to see so much more of Scotland because of this job.
Yeah.
Like we get taken to all these random locations, which you're not able to go to normally. Like in episode 1, there's a bridge where we went to, and that's actually in the middle of like a military site. Where they test bombs and things, so you can't actually get to it if you're a normal person. Yeah.
Where is it?
I wouldn't say it on here. I'll tell you after. Otherwise, I'll probably get in trouble. But yeah, you can't get to that bridge normally. And it's also in the middle of nowhere, and it just comes out like you'll be driving down this track for 15 minutes, then like bam, it's just like right there, and it's so picturesque. It's gorgeous. But would never have been able to see that if it wasn't for the job.
What is your favorite location that you visited that you can share?
That I can share. There was one that we did. It was just outside of Crieff, and I can't remember the exact location, but it was next to the golf course, and it's a ruined kirk where Brian and Ellen in episode 9 have their breakup scene, and that was stunning because there's this ruined kirk in a graveyard. And there's a golf course behind us, but you couldn't see that in the shot. But then on the other side of it, there's just these massive mountains, and they're so close and so steep that it almost looks like Jurassic Park or something. And they're so green. I remember getting there and just breath was taken. It was breathtaking.
Yeah. I think you've been to Glencoe, right?
Uh-huh.
Have you been up to? I'm going to get assassinated for this because I say it wrong every time and I just can't pronounce it. But it's Biena Cruz. I think I texted you, didn't I? But Biena Cruz.
Yes. I wasn't even going to try and say that. Yeah. I was like, that's cool.
You've not done that one?
No, I haven't. No.
It is one of because the Eative Moor is the big pointy one in the middle. Mm-hmm. That's the one that everybody goes for, that everybody climbs.
Right.
But on the right-hand side of this, you have a shoulder that looks onto the Eative Moor. And the problem with climbing the Eative Moor is you can't see the Eative Moor, which is the view.
Right, okay.
So if you do the other one, especially when you do it like in the morning, I think really early mornings are where I thrive because there's nobody else there, and you see the stags walking around the low cloud, beautiful, and you get the view of the entire valley. And there's nobody there, and you're looking onto the Eative Moor. It's stunning. You need to do it.
I feel like this is an advert for Scotland.
Visit Scotland, sponsor it. And is there the locations in Scotland? Do you not think it's incredible that the draw that Outlander will have to certain locations? Like people will go to, they'll try and find the bridge, right? But they'll go to all these locations just because you filmed there now.
Yeah, there was an article that came out about the effect that Outlanders had on Scottish tourism, and I can't remember the numbers, so I'm not going to try and remember them. But it was a significant amount of millions that it brings in purely because of the show.
Yeah.
Obviously the original has been running for 7 with dates coming out next year. So it's had a lot of locations, in Scotland, and it is incredible to see how many people from the States have come to Scotland just for the locations of the show, and they know how to pick them, because I don't think I've ever been to a place and I'm like, this is kind of a shithole. Every single place has been stunning.
That's funny. My mum was watching Outlander, and she was saying one of the points, like obviously she wanted to watch you and all this kind of stuff, but she also said like one of the most incredible things is seeing my home in its beauty. And see like all these places that we take for granted because we live an hour from them, that you see on a screen and you're like, oh, I need to go back.
It makes you proud, man.
Yeah.
Really proud.
Yeah, it really does. Did you feel more pressure going into this role because of the success of the last Outlander?
I think there was definitely a pressure, but also with the same time as that, I think it was just every emotion really, because it's silly to think that there wasn't any pressure, but I don't remember at the time there being too much pressure because this is a new show and we knew it was going to be different from Outlander. Like it was going to be similar enough that it would pay homage to, the original series, but also it could be watched by anybody as a standalone series.
It's like almost like Game of Thrones and House of Dragon.
Yeah.
They can stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. And I knew how good the scripts were when I signed on, and I knew how good the rest of the cast were. And once I knew that, I was like, well, we've got everything we need here to make something amazing. So I think that kind of like dissipated the pressure a wee bit.
Yeah.
And then when you're filming in Scotland, you're almost in your own little bubble as well. So you kind of forget about like how big the actual show is, because in Scotland it's not that big over here, right? You know,
You run every freaking bus. And I was walking around and I was like, it's Jamie.
I know. It's actually, that's very strange. That never gets it never gets old or weird. But yeah, you sometimes forget how much of a scale this show is on. You know, it's worldwide. And well, when you're filming in Glasgow, it's nice because it's like your little safe bubble. And you can just focus on the work, and you can walk around and go to the shops. And most people over here, like, I think now I've started to get recognized a lot more, but I think Scottish people being Scottish people, they just kind of keep themselves to themselves.
Yeah, they leave you to it.
Yeah. Whereas in America, you know, someone will scream your name across from the street and you're like, hello.
How have you dealt with that? Like the recognition and fame side of things. I mean, we were talking earlier about the fact that you're playing a character almost makes you more approachable because they think you are the character. How have you found the fan interactions?
They've all been fantastic so far. I think it is definitely, it's something that I knew coming into this, that my life was going to change fundamentally in that respect. But I think whenever you're telling a story on such a large platform, like if you want to tell the best stories, and for that to be shown to the most amount of people, you're going to have to give something away, because that's just the nature of the beast, right? People are going to want to know you. They're going to recognize you and things. So for me, that was a decision that I was quite comfortable with from the start, being like, okay, well, I'm happy to trade off a little bit of my privacy and be recognized to be able to tell this story on such a platform. So yeah, now that the whole show has come out, I like I said, I've definitely recognized, I've seen the difference in the uptick of people, you know, doing like double takes or, you know, on the train, or, you know, you're sitting in the subway and all of a sudden like someone's phone just kind of like, you know, they go like this. And by the way, that's so unobvious. Anyone who does that, like, we see it every single time. We know you're not playing fucking Snake on your phone. And that's okay. It's still weird because I'm just not used to it, but it's fine. I'm more than happy to meet people on the street, and the way I look at it, it's 30 seconds out of my day to make someone's week or whatever and make someone really happy. And that's totally fine for me.
You ever had any weird interactions yet?
Weird interactions. Let me see.
Because some of the questions.
There's been a couple. There was one at the pub a few weeks ago, and I was just standing at the pub waiting to order, and I just felt a tug on my jacket. I turned around and there's this lady there, and she didn't even say hi. She's just like, I need to borrow you for a minute. And I was like, well, what for? So there's some people who want to meet you outside, and I was like, and then I'm looking at the bar. I've just like ordered like there's 3 pints of Guinness like settling, and I was like, I've just kind of ordered a drink. She's like, yeah, but just come. I was like, okay, this is weird. So I said to my mate, it's like, right, I'm gonna deal with this for 2 seconds. And I went out, and they were all lovely and things like that. But it doesn't hurt for people to say, hi, would you mind coming out, as opposed to ordering.
You're coming at your property.
Yeah, exactly. You know, which is a wee bit like, I'm still a person, and I'm more than happy to come and say hi and give people hugs or handshakes or whatever. But you can just ask for it, you know, as opposed to ordering me.
Yeah. What's the cultural differences in terms of, you mentioned there, Scottish people are quite, they'd see you in the pub and they'd maybe think, just, you know, leave them to it, you know, just let them be. Whereas Americans can be a lot more loud, right? They want to shout and scream and talk.
Sure. I think, it's cool because I've lived in America, you know, for almost 8 years before the job. So I got to really be immersed in that culture and see it. But I think Americans as a whole are more direct with things. And they'll say their thoughts and emotions, as opposed to British people who might think more than they say and be a little bit more reserved. So yeah, I think Americans as a whole are probably more outspoken than we are, and that lends itself to screaming across roads and things like that. Yeah,
but it is a privilege. Like, I think that I remember when I was really young, I was like, I must have been 14. And I bumped into a guy in an airport, and then Kevin Bridges was there, and he was like, let's go and get a photo with him. And I was like, no, you can't do that. Christ, leave the guy alone. And he was like, Harrison, you do understand how much of a privilege it is that we're asking him for a photo. Like it will make his day as well as it will make ours. And I suppose to an extent, it's kind of right because it's like people want a photo with me. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I never want to get to the point where I'm jaded when someone comes up and asks me for a photo and I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine. I don't think I will because that's not really the sort of person that I am. And if I ever do get like that, then you can tell me. Hey, remember that conversation we had? But yeah, like I like making other people's day. I like making people feel good, and that's why you're doing this, or at least that's why I'm doing this. Is to tell stories that mean something to people. So for someone to come up and say, hey, you know, your character meant so much to me, or I really related with that. Like you said, that's a privilege. That's the goal. So job done as far as I'm concerned if that happens.
Has there been any change in the way that people have interacted with you since you've become kind of more famous?
In what sense?
So I feel like there was friends that I used to have kind of back in school who were not supportive in the slightest, but as soon as you get any form of traction, I'm not saying I'm famous at all, but it was more on the photography, YouTube, and the videography side of things. Sure. As soon as I gained any traction on that, it was all of a sudden like, well, I want to be your friend again. And it was this weird, it was kind of superficial, right? It was like, you're trying to be friends with me because of what you can get from me. Has there been a change in the way that...
You know, I'm quite lucky in that sense because I knew that sort of thing could happen. But I don't really have many friends, which sounds quite sad. But what I mean by that, let me clarify, is I have plenty of acquaintances, but less people who I would call my friends, because the way that I want to do it, or live my life, is have a really select group of people who I can wholeheartedly trust, that if they ever text me and they needed me or call me, and I could do something for them immediately, you know. So I like to think I've kept a good friend group growing up, that people didn't really change. And there was some people who like reached out and things, been like, oh, congratulations and stuff, who I hadn't heard from in, 6 years. But I didn't really think anything of that, because it's just like, oh, they're just being nice or whatever. And, they never talked again or whatever. They just reached out to say congrats. But yeah, thankfully, it's not been so superficial like that, because that was definitely a concern before.
Yeah. Yes. How do you trust people when there's an agenda at play? There was the podcast I was listening to recently, a famous comedian, and he was basically saying when you get famous, you want to hang around other celebrities because you know they don't have an agenda. And I think that it probably is kind of true. And also, like, you don't know if someone's going to try to take a photo of you doing something, or like there's a degree of trust that's lacking. Yeah. It just gets a little bit iffy. How did you get into character when filming Outlander? Was there like because I've heard certain actors being like, we had like a ritual, like I'd say there's Matthew McConaughey going
yeah, right.
Did you do anything like that?
Let's see, I think it was probably like just putting on the costume each morning, because we go into makeup first, and then we'd have breakfast, and then I put the costume on, and the costumes are incredible. Like, there's so many layers and things like that, so it really is like building up the character again. And then once you've got the whole thing on, you do hold yourself a certain way, because the thing's heavy. It's heavy as shit, actually. My back at the end of the day is like, oh. But that makes you hold yourself a certain way, and that was probably my thing. And when I would do my kind of vocal warm-ups in the morning and things, that was kind of like my switch to be like, all right, we're in work now, and put the phone away and just concentrate on what we're doing, like whatever scene it was, or yeah. So it wasn't something as like every single morning I would, eat my porridge or something and transform into Brian. It was just more of a, all right, cool, we're at work. And yeah, because I think as people, Brian and I are very similar actually in terms of a lot of things. So honestly, it wasn't like much of a transition I had to make. And, for most of the other actors, I think on the show, they're not using their native accent. A lot of them are English doing Scottish accents. So for them, it's a little bit more like cut and dry. Be like, okay, right now I'm switching and I'm speaking Scottish, and that's me in character. Whereas the line between Brian and I is quite fluid, I would say, sometimes.
In what ways do you think you're similar?
I think we're both quite stoic. I think we think more than we speak. And I like to think that Brian always tries to make the right choice, do the right thing, and that's always something that I'm endeavoring to do, is try and do the right thing. Yeah, I can learn a lot from him in that respect, I think.
Is there any funny moments from sets?
Oh God, like so many.
Any pranks that were played that you're allowed to say? Don't
Oh
incriminate
yeah,
yourself?
no, yeah, we had so many pranks. We had this thing. Jeremy started it. He plays Henry in the show, and he's the biggest prankster that I think I've probably met. And he bought like 20 bags of these confetti glitter dicks for like hen parties, and we would glitter dick bomb casts at all different points. So like he would put it into like their scripts and read-throughs and stuff like that. So we'd do a read-through, with all the big bosses and stuff watching, and people would turn a page and like glitter would be everywhere. We put it into like people's shoes and their costumes and things like that, to the point, right, where months and months on, we would still find like these little glitter dicks on set and things like that, and nobody knew who it was apart from Jeremy and I.
Yeah.
And we did this whole thing where the two casts from the shows came together, and we told everyone on that day that it was us, and they were like, wow. But there's something, it's kind of like The Traitors, right? Did you watch that? Yeah, so it's kind of like The Traitors except glitter dick version.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of fun. The caster is, everyone's just so loves to play, very playful.
Yeah.
And we have great fun. And the thing is, if you take it too seriously, then you start to get like really tight and kind of wooden.
Yeah.
And it's fun to like laugh like right before a take. I mean, like literally a couple of weeks ago, I was working with a couple of guys, and right before they called action, he farted. But the camera's running, so they definitely have this like the sound, and we ran to the scene, and he couldn't get his lines out because he was like just trying so hard not to laugh. They like kind of turned away from camera, being like, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go back and we'll start again. Yeah. And he fucking, so we went back, start again, and he farted again, and we're just like, stop it. But it's that sort of thing. It keeps it loose, it keeps it fresh and fun at your work.
Yeah, and you can feel that. Like you can feel that when you watch it. You actually have a connection outside the show, and there isn't that wooden kind of stiffness that comes, especially when you're. I mean, yeah, we might as well talk about it now with the questions that are going to come up later. But especially with the intimate scenes, you could say, like you need to have a good relationship in order to do that, and also in order to feel comfortable enough to do that. Take me back to the sex scene. What went on? How does that happen? How does that come about? And like, yeah, what are the barriers that they put in place?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of barriers, first of all, but I'll take you back to like, so whenever we have one of these scenes in the script, we have a meeting with the creative teams, like producers and director and stuff, and they tell us their vision, and they give us these storyboards, for what they envision and what they want to do. And we'll pretty much say what we want to do and what we don't want to do. And it's very collaborative in that sense, Right. For me, the scene, I don't mind the scenes, but they have to make sense for the story. They have to move the story forward at some point. They can't just be in there for gratuitous reasons. So the characters have to change from the start to the end, So as long as it makes sense for the story, that's like the first kind of checkbox. Something is, okay, right, sweet. And when I say make sense for the story, that has things to do like the degree of nudity, so like, is it just a shirt off and you've got your kilt on, or is it fully nude, like for instance, in episode 5, when Brian and Ellen first meet, the first time that they pitched that, we were going to be fully nude, and Harry and I were like, we haven't earned that yet, like this is the first time that these characters are kind of getting together, and they could be walked in on at any time during this, so it wouldn't make sense to be like that. And we knew we had another one in episode 10, and we both said this makes so much more sense to happen in episode 10.
Yeah.
And then the director and producers agreed with us and thought that was good. So now the two that we had, one in episode 5, one in episode 10, are starkly different because they're at different points of the story, The first one is when they're young and they're kind of, it's another stolen moment, so to speak. So it's a lot more passionate and rushed, and it's a different type of lovemaking as opposed to episode 10 where, you know, Brian and Ellen have this moment where they're away from everyone and they can just really take their time, and it's a lot more, instead of like fiery, I would say slow and passionate like that. But everything is pretty much choreographed like a dance, you know. So everything is about like how many beats you're going to do in a certain position, where the hand's going to go on each beat, and you know where the camera's going to be, so it covers certain things. So it's very much a dance, and we do it over and over and over again, so that once we get to actually filming it on the day, we know exactly in our bodies where we're going to go at what time, and we can just be present with one another. And then in terms of like the barriers, I mean, you've got all sorts of things on, you know, like protective things over your, you know, parts and such like that, so nothing's going to touch. And these things are so not sexy. Like, it's amazing how how good it looks when you see it on TV, how passionate it is, because literally when you're doing it, it is very like, you know, you've got a crew around you and stuff like that. Although I'll be a smaller crew because it's a closed set. So like normally on a set you might have like 100 people kind of walking around, 150 people. Whereas that there could be a handful of people, like there'll be 2 camera guys, a sound guy and director, and then the intimacy coordinator, who's very important.
What makes the set closed? Just the kind of intimacy of it?
Yeah. So like that's what they'll say. They'll say it's a closed set, so they have like barriers up and things, and then no one's allowed like anywhere near it apart from the essential crew.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not just like naked in front of 150 people.
No,
it's like
no,
very
no.
very closed
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Yeah. So very, very closed off, so no one can see it, and they'll have like one monitor. You know, normally they have monitors all around the set for people to see, you know, like hair, makeup and things, but they just have one for the director. And then one for the intimacy coordinator, who makes sure that everybody's kept safe.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing the approved choreography. The cameras are catching what we've already agreed to, all that sort of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the most important thing, again, I think, is kind of what you said before, is the trust that you have with your co-star and with your director. You know, if you've got that trust, then you can really lean into the scene and do the acting part of it, you know. Because if you don't have that, then it just makes for a really awkward time. But thankfully, I trust Harriet, trusts everyone who we work with on these things. So they've been fine to shoot.
Were you more nervous about those scenes?
Yeah, I mean, so in episode 10 was the very first time where I'm just stood there bollock naked, right? And the only thing covering me is this little piece of fabric over my front. And the first time I remember getting into that, and then she takes off the kilt, and I'm just stood there completely naked. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
exposed.
Well, one, it's cold, and two, it's very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You do it a few times, and then you're like, okay, right, I kind of feel this now. I know where I'm at. And I wouldn't say you get comfortable, but there is something quite nice about just being so exposed. You're like, this is all I am. This is me, and I just have to deal with it. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but you do learn a lot from it.
What was your favorite scene to shoot?
My favorite one, I think I have 2. One is the stables scene where Brian and Ellen first meet, because we actually filmed that last. So we'd gone through the whole season, and then we refilmed it because of creative reasons, and they wanted to do something a wee bit different. But having known where the story ends and to go back to the start was really nice. And then Harry and I had also built up such a nice chemistry over the course of 7 months of filming. So that was a really, really lovely day. Loved that. And then the last scene in episode 6 with Brian and Julia and this little baby William. I loved that because it was such a stressful episode 6, and then it gets to this like moment of stillness and quiet, and Brian and Julia have this lovely conversation. It's really heartfelt. She gives him a cake. Who doesn't love cake? It's nice. And then whenever you're working with a real baby, oh man, it changes everything, because all of a sudden you're just like, oh shit, I have to take care of this thing, right? And I
Don't
know
drop it.
I read comments with people being like, "Oh, the way that Brian, she stood up and he put his arm to protect the baby," and I'm like, that was just me because
Instinct.
I was scared the baby was she was gonna get up and then roll off. So I was like, shit, like like watch out for the baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really loved that because it was the end of this like stressful week of filming for both of us, and it was just a really lovely, touching scene.
What was the worst scene?
The worst to film. Oh man, probably one of the ones outside when we first started. I can't name a particular one off the top of my head, but when we started, we started filming at the end of January in the deep, dark depth of Scottish winter. And,
Cold.
Oh, it's so cold to the point where like your fingers, turn blue, your face freezes, you can't get the words out. So probably one of those days outside, trying to stay warm or wet as well. There was a couple of days where we're just getting drenched, and when you're wet and cold at the same time, you're just trying to say your words, but you're shivering.
Yeah.
It's quite challenging.
What was the split in terms of things that this really interests me? In terms of what was filmed outside in a natural environment, like where the bridge was, versus what was filmed in a studio. What was the split?
It's probably 50-50,
Right.
I would say, or maybe 40 inside and 60 outside, but around that kind of ratio, I think. I just go by my schedule, and most of the time it's half and half, I would say. But then sometimes we get lucky enough to film inside on location, like in historical buildings and stuff like that. Like for instance in a castle. Got to do that recently, and that was very, very cool to be actually inside a castle filming. That's pretty sweet.
That'll put you in the headspace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. And do you keep in contact with the previous cast of the other Outlander?
Yeah. I'm pals. I've met pretty much all of them, I think, at this point. And yeah, the ones who live in Glasgow, still in contact with, and I talk to Sam now and again, just to catch up with things. But they're a great bunch of people.
Yeah.
Really, really love them, and they've been so helpful to kind of guide us and take us under their wing, so to speak, I think.
Did Sam give you advice before you started?
It was less advice, more just enjoy it, man, and because it's gonna fly by, and there's gonna be tough days, of course, but you're still living the dream. You know what I mean? So just be grateful and, just enjoy it because it flies by. And now that we've finished season 1, we're more than halfway through season 2. It is really flying by.
Is there any, you're going to say no, but is there any spoilers or direction you can give around season 2?
There's some stuff that we can talk about. But I think in season 2, it's, in my opinion, it's even better than season 1. There's a lot of action. A lot of relationships change. And I think... And it follows some historical events as well that actually happened in Scotland around about that time, like 1715, 1716. So people, they've got a lot to look forward to. That's all I'll say.
Closed book. I see how it is. And did historical events that actually happened in Scotland, like I suppose you can't say, right? But okay.
Things that happen, pretty prolific things that happen in Scottish history. You'd be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah. And I have talked about it in other interviews, but I don't know when they're getting released. So I'll just say historical events for now.
Bypass that one. Yeah, okay, no, nice. Have you ever seen Highlander?
No, but I know they're doing the reboot of it.
You need to watch it.
Is it good?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's an old movie. But it's like one of those movies that you'll always watch with like a family member, and it always reminds you of them. I'll always watch it with my dad, and it's one of those movies that is just so good. The actual story of it is just so good. I think Henry Cavill got cast in it, right?
Yeah, he's doing the reboot. Although they've had to postpone it to early next year because he done in his ACL, I think.
Oh my god, have you ever met him?
No, I haven't.
Have you not? Because you always, whenever I see a picture of you, people are just the top comments, Henry Cavill.
It's not a bad compliment to get, man. And especially because he's grown his hair out for Highlander as well. And when I have my hair down, it's not dissimilar. In fact, he posted something recently, and for a split second, I was like, I don't fucking post that. I was like, oh, wait, not me. Not me.
Yeah. So you've never spoken to him. Who's the the most famous person that you have in your contact list?
My contact list. I don't know actually. I've met some pretty amazing people. I met Ryan Reynolds one time, which was pretty cool. I didn't get his number, but it was when did I book the show at this point? I think I'd booked it and I was still doing my cater waitering, but I was working like the People's Choice Awards, and I was his personal crummer.
Wow.
No, I have to make sure you hear that. That was crummer with an R. But basically, like between the adverts of between awards, and they'd have these ad breaks. They'd be like, all right, we've got 45 seconds. And I would have to go onto him at his table and make sure that there was no crumbs on his table and make sure that he didn't have anything on him. And he was lovely. Really, really nice guy. But yeah, that was my job for that entire day, was to make sure that Ryan Reynolds had no crumbs on him. And pleased to say, didn't get any complaints. So, yeah. But in terms of my contact list, I don't know. I mean, I've got some friends who are in big movies and stuff like that. Little smaller roles, but yeah, we'll see how that changes over the course of a few years.
Yeah. Have you contacted any of the Scottish actors, like James McAvoy being an example, or Gerard Butler, I think is back in Glasgow?
Yeah. I've met Jerry once before, and that was great meeting him. Met him in LA. I've never met James, but I would love to meet James. He actually just directed a film with one of the guys on the show, Seamus. They're doing this film called California Schemin', and Seamus is one of the leads in that. Seamus is a fantastic actor. He plays Colm in the show, young Colm. And yeah, I keep saying to Seamus, like, oh man, when are you going to introduce me to James?
I love him.
yeah, exactly. I think I don't get starstruck really at all. Like, I've met loads of really cool people, and yeah, I don't really get starstruck, but I think I would get starstruck if I met him. I don't know what I would say. Just hi.
I love you.
Yeah.
Is he your favorite actor?
I think probably, yeah. I think between him and Christian Bale, I think both of them just have such an intensity and such a variance in the way that they can perform. And Tom Hardy as well. I think he's so versatile. They're all really, really fantastic. And then Kristen Milotti as well.
What's he in?
She was in the Penguin. Did you ever watch that?
Yes.
With Colin Farrell.
Yes.
So she played Sophia Falcone.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, and Colin Farrell as well. He's fantastic in that role. But she did she win? I think she won an Emmy for it actually. In the last Emmys. But yeah, she's absolutely fantastic. I actually just watched Palm Springs with her and Andy Samberg last night. It's one of my favorite films. But yeah, she's brilliant too.
Can you still enjoy movies like you used to, or do you look at the movie and think, I know that there's a light there, and I know that there's a camera there? Like, how does that work?
Yes, if I'm in that headspace, but most of the time I'm able to separate it because I love stories so much that I can really buy into a story. If at any point during a film I'm thinking of like technical stuff like that, then the film's shit.
Okay.
You know? So I'm thinking, oh, well, like, you know, in that take he had his hand on the glass and then they cut to his hands crossed, you know. So that like kind of takes you out of it. You look for things like that. Or should I say you notice things like that. But most time I can watch it just for the story and appreciate, you know, really buying into what these characters are thinking and feeling and stuff.
There's the one with Henry Cavill where it's in Mission Impossible, and
oh my god, the CGI mustache.
Yeah, did you see that?
I don't know why. Yeah, because he had the mustache for Mission Impossible, and then he did reshoots for Justice League, and he wasn't allowed to shave it off per his contract, so they CGI'd it, and it's oh my
so
god,
bad.
I mean that film anyway was a disaster for so many reasons, but yeah, that. I don't know what they were thinking. It's insane actually when you watch some movies and you're like, how did this get made? Like,
how did they miss it?
Yeah. How did they miss these things? Like, how did someone watch this and be like, yeah, let's put this in the theaters and this is going to be a box office hit? Like, no. Like, no.
Well, there was the Starbucks cup that was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That was a big one that came out, and but the layers of approval these things have to. I mean, you just demonstrated it yourself with the interview process. There's so many layers you need to go through. So how did that get from A to B without being flagged?
It's just it is so mental. I think all you can say is like people are looking out for other things.
Well, yeah, the acting,
and then
yeah,
they miss like the tiniest things. And it happens all the time in shows. These tiny little things, continuity, as we say.
Yeah. What would be your advice for young actors?
Oh, that's a good one. I think, I mean, without being cliched about it, like really just go for it. Like put your whole heart into it and follow your dreams, because it's a tough thing to do. It's a really, really competitive, tough industry. But if you really love what you do, then that is the thing that's going to carry you forward. So have a really strong reason why you're doing it. Ask yourself on a daily basis, why am I pursuing this career? Or even if you're in a class or you're reading a play or you're doing anything to do with acting, always ask yourself why. Like, why am I telling this story? Or why is my character saying this? I think why is such a good one. You don't necessarily have to have a strong answer, but as long as you, or it's not, I shouldn't say a strong answer, but you don't necessarily have to have an answer immediately, but as long as you think about it and you're thinking about it on a daily basis, about your why, then that's going to keep you going. At the start of this, you said, are you driven or dragged? And you'll be dragged if you don't have a strong why.
What's your why?
To tell good stories. Yeah, to tell stories that mean something to people, to do something that people change from watching it. They come out with a new idea about something they didn't really know, or it makes them think about a relationship maybe that they have in their life that might have been shown on the screen. Like a father-son relationship might make them think more about their relationship with their dad, or a father's relationship with his son. Yeah, I think that's my main why.
It's a bit like that James McAvoy movie Filth. Like, it makes you think about mental health in a larger fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the movie or the series that came out recently, Monster?
No, I haven't, but it's good.
My God. So firstly, Charlie, what's his second name? Hunt. His acting is incredible. Like, unbelievable. And the accent and the creepy, he goes like, mother always says. It's like, it's really, really weird. But the amount of stuff that was inspired from what that man did, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like all the classic cult horror films were all inspired directly from him. But the mental health thing, like, it shows all the horrible shit he did, killing people and wearing their skin and disgusting, horrendous acts. And then it shows him in the hospital and he can't remember it. And he's totally mentally warped. He's bipolar, he's schizophrenic.
Right.
And he has no concept that he's actually done these things. And the acting that Charlie, the way he portrays him, is so touching that it almost makes you forgive the character for doing these horrendous, heinous acts.
Wow.
It's seriously incredible. You need to watch it.
Yeah, it's on my list when I get a break from work.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of those ones you watch because you're watching it and you're like, this is disgusting. Like, I hate the guy's killing people. And then it cuts to him in the mental asylum and they strap him up to a lie detector and he passes the lie detector. They say, did you murder this person? No, because he can't remember it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it actually makes you really think and question people's motives and why they do certain things. But taking a U-turn, what did you do with your first paycheck?
I did the most cliche thing ever. I
Got fucked.
I bought a big TV. I bought a big TV and I bought new golf clubs. I think that was it. Yeah. And a PlayStation.
Oh, did you get a PlayStation 5?
I got a PS5.
I literally just got one of them yesterday as well.
Oh, mate, so good.
Yeah, so good. Battlefield, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you feel at any point when you hit this goal that had been in your head for so long, a sense of you were a bit deflated after it?
Like what?
Like mentally, like they say it's gold medal syndrome in the Olympics when people hit that gold medal. After the initial rush of endorphins, they're like, fuck, what do I do now?
Interesting. I don't think so, because this is very much. I feel like a gold medal at the Olympics is probably the pinnacle of like your sport, and there's nowhere you can go. Whereas I feel like when you're acting, there's always another story to tell, and I don't think you can say one story is. Well, you can say one story is better than another, but like when you get to like the, right at the top of like telling the best stories, working with the best people, there's always going to be someone new. There's always going to be another story to be told. Like, so there's always places where you can go. I've never been really driven by awards per se. Someone might say like, oh, my ultimate goal is to win an Oscar or to win an Emmy. And that's never really been a goal of mine, because I'm like, they're just so subjective anyway. Case in point with episode 6, some people loved that and some people hated it. I loved that and some people hate it. I was like, well, but the performances were undoubtedly so good. Like Hermione in that episode is great. But I've never been really driven by that. So I think if anything, it was just the opposite actually. It was like, wow, I've gotten this now. What else can I, do after this? I love this job, but you just time between seasons where you've got a few months off where you might be able to pick up a job or two, and you just get really excited about, I wonder what new opportunities are going to come from that. So yeah, I would say it was the opposite actually.
Has it opened a lot of doors?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And can you feel that? Like when you now go to do an interview or submit a tape, is there more consideration over you because of what you've had prior? It's funny how the industry works that way, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And this, when you're first starting out acting and trying to get, what people say is your first big break, that is almost the hardest part, I think, because nobody wants to take a risk on the new guy. Until someone does, and then as soon as they do, everyone's like, "Oh, do you want to come audition for this? Do you want to audition for this? Do you want to audition for this?" And then all of a sudden, everyone wants to see you. But you still have to work for it. Like I'm still auditioning for things. Just now, it's not as if you just book one thing and then you get given jobs for the rest of your life. Like you're still competing with people who are now in the same boat as you. Who are in TV shows and doing lead roles and things like that. So. Yeah, there's more opportunities, but it's probably just as competitive as it was when you were trying to get your break before that.
Yeah. What is the goal for you?
Professionally, personally?
Bit of both. Give me both. Go on.
I think professionally, I would just love to have a good body of work, which was spanning over a bunch of different genres, and I get to play some really cool characters. And that's the best thing as well about this job, is that you age, and as you age, you change, and we change as people, right? So the character of me, Jamie, in 10 years' time is going to be significantly different, to who I am now. And that's going to lend itself to being right for different roles. So, I'm going to be able to play an old wizard in, 30 years' time, 40 years' time, maybe. I wouldn't be able to do that now, but I will be able to. So I think professionally, I would just like to have a long-running career where I could work consistently on good things, and then I'll be happy. Personally, a goal. Gosh, what's the goal of your life? Just the small questions, isn't it? I think it's to leave the world in a better place than you found it. I think would be a good one to sign off to for me. Like if on my deathbed, if I can look back and say that I had a life well lived and I treated everyone with kindness and love as much as I could, and I'd atoned for my mistakes and forgiven myself for anything that I might have done, then that would be a life well lived, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. Do you think you're happy?
I try to be as happy as I can. Yeah. And you know what the thing is, like, even when you're going through times of stress and sadness and stuff like that, that's okay, because if we didn't have these sad points in our lives, then we wouldn't be able to appreciate the good, So whenever I do find myself being sad, I know that, life is peaks and troughs. So I might be in a trough now, but there's a peak that'll come at some point, and I just have to ride through it. So I just try and appreciate when any time I feel sad and be like, I'm grateful to feel sad.
Tom Hanks has a great quote on this. I mean, you might have actually seen it. He says, "This too shall pass." He was like, "Oh, you feel great? Well, it's going to pass."
Yeah, exactly.
You feel shit? Well, that'll pass as well. And
Yeah.
it's right. Sometimes something will go really, really well in work, and you think I'm on top of the world, and then all of a sudden the whole thing comes crashing down around you, and you go, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's a funny thing, life, isn't it? It's. Do you think that there's anything that specifically that you're? So there's nothing specific that you're aiming towards. It's just telling good stories. Like there's not. Do you want to be cast in the next Superman, or?
Oh, like if you're talking about like individual roles, I mean, I think it's like every British actor's dream to play Bond. I mean, that would be so cool.
Have you auditioned?
No, not yet. I think they're doing that next year, I believe, after the director finishes on June 3.
Oh, because there's so many rumors that it's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
From what I've heard.
What's the inside scoop, Jamie?
Well,
Tell me the inside scoop.
That's the thing. People talk, so you never know what's real and what's not. But what I last read was that the director of June 3, who's the guy who's doing the next Bond, once he's finished production on that, he will start looking in 26 for a new Bond, and they're looking for a fresh face apparently.
Oh, so they don't want him to be perceived in a certain way prior to coming on.
A well-known person. Yeah. They want them to be relatively unknown to the mass population.
Does that worry you at all, that you'll get put in almost like a box because you've done this Outlander season?
I don't think so. I think since it's like my first big thing, all you need is your next job to be contrasting to that, and then it's like, all right, cool, well, we can see this guy's not just a one-trick pony. So you can do other things. Also, the fact that the show is an ensemble show, there's 4 lead characters, it means that you don't have as much screen time as Sam and Katrina had in Outlander. So I think it's easier to see me as something more than just Brian, which is cool.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. Taking a U-turn before we get onto the questions that people have asked for you, another U-turn, because I'm looking at your watch and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh,
what is that watch?
It's a Tag Echo Racer.
When did you get that?
I got this, I think I was 16. I've had this
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I was 16 when I got it, and I literally had run out of battery for ages. And I just got a new battery put in it like 2 weeks ago.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. Do you like watches?
I love watches.
Do you? So you're a watch guy. What's your favorite brand?
I mean, I've got 2 tags and I've got a Tissot.
Nice.
But I got to wear a Patek Philippe when I went to Comic-Con and stuff, and that was pretty awesome. It was, I forget the...
Calatrava? Was it Calatrava?
It was the one where you can click it and it's got all the different time zones on it. I forget
World Timer.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky
Mate, it was
man.
so cool. It was so cool. I'll show you pictures of it after. It was, very
That's
nice.
all. What's the dream? Like, have you heard of the Holy Trinity of watches?
No.
So the Holy Trinity of watches are Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, and AP or Audemars Piguet. And that makes up the Holy Trinity that everyone goes crazy about. But yeah, it's so interesting the value that people put on a watch beyond just the watch, right? Like I've got a watch. It's not actually the one I'm wearing today. I've got a Seamaster. It's by no means the best watch in the collection, but I look at that. It's the most special because it reminds me of watching James Bond with my dad.
Nice.
So like that's the connection that you put on it.
Yeah.
And all the watch guys go absolutely like crazy about that.
Yeah, I bought this when I was in Cyprus when I was 16 to celebrate my first set of exams that I got top marks on. And it was before Cyprus had its economic crash and things, so it was actually cheaper to buy it in Cyprus than it was in the UK.
Yeah, the accountant brain coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And then the economy crashed, and then you took on the euro, and then it was just a clusterfuck. But I got in there before. So yeah, this is for that reason, like you were saying, like that's very special.
Yeah. And do you have any other? Did you get a watch to celebrate Outlander?
I didn't get a watch. No, the thing that I bought myself was golf clubs. A brand new set of custom fit, lovely golf clubs.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm definitely in the market for a new watch because I haven't bought one in probably about 7 years or so. So I think I'm due one.
Oh, you're in the right place,
Yeah,
mate.
I was gonna say,
Have
yeah.
you got any that you're looking at specifically, or not yet?
Not really.
Still browsing. Yeah. Do you know the style that you're after?
Dude, I'm completely open. Well, I know that I want one with a leather strap,
Yeah.
like a nice classic brown leather strap, because that was the kind of strap I had when I was wearing the boutique, and I love that. It was really cool. And the other two that I've got the Tissot is like a kind of sports like plastic one. I actually won that through gambling.
Don't gamble, kids.
Unless you're good at it. And the other one's the Tag. It's I forget the name of it, but I got that when I graduated, and that's a link one as well.
That's pretty special to get that when you graduate.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's I forget. It's an automatic one. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was really, really nice.
Yeah, that's super special. Super special. Okay, what we'll do, we'll take a quick break. I need to pee really bad. And then we've got a segment of everybody that asks questions for you from the Instagram page. And if anyone wants to get involved in that, if you head to the Into the Mind podcast page, it's there and you can ask questions for guests. So let's go pee though.
Okay, cool.
Okay, right. Questions for Jamie. So this is all from the Into the Mind podcast, and there's so many, so forgive me if this takes...
Okay, let's see what we're working with.
What we're working with here, Jamie. The amount of these questions, they're about sex. It's like unreal. Okay, what was the most difficult part in playing your role in Outlander, Blood of My Blood? And that's from Meheli CH.
The most difficult part, I think, is dealing with the Scottish weather. Yeah, like the conditions you have to work with sometimes are just so difficult. Like you'll be filming in hailstones with wind and it also being cold, and it's you just want to be anywhere else at that time. But yeah, you just gotta soldier up and just get on with it because it's not going to film itself.
And also sometimes the most harsh environments, at least from what I've found in filming and photography, the most harsh environments look the best, but they're just the most difficult to be in.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's why, like, I spoke to a guy called Corey Richards, who's he's like a famous photographer from LA. You probably wouldn't have crossed paths with him. And he has this thing about embracing discomfort. He says if you embrace discomfort of these scenarios and settings and weather and you end up getting the best product out of it. And I think he's absolutely right. Okay, next up is... Right, we can't do that one.
It's like that South Park episode when he's going through like the chat roulette thing, and he's like, guy with the wiener, guy with the wiener, guy with the wiener. Oh, he's got his wiener.
Have you read the Outlander or just the Outlander books, says Melissa Parsons?
No, I have not read the Outlander books. I mean, I've watched, well, they're quite dense, first of all. They're quite big, but I have watched all the series, but no, I haven't read the books. I haven't got around to that yet. My reasoning is that I don't want to know more than my character would know.
Oh, that's good reason.
Yeah.
That's pretty good
because
reason.
I watched the series a while ago and I don't remember too much from it. Like, I know the general story and stuff like that, but, I watched it because I enjoyed the show, not to like, pick up on any mannerisms or acting traits and stuff, which I've seen so many people say, been like, oh, you must have studied, Sam's mannerisms. And I'm like, I didn't study shit. Like, I swear to God, and I've said this so many times in interviews and things, like I didn't. We are just very similar people. But no matter how many times you say that, people will be like, yeah, no, he said that he's studied the mannerisms, and I'm like, oh, whatever. But maybe the books will be in the future. We'll see.
Yeah. Good. When Christ, mate, some of these are Amber O.L. Connolly says best places in Scotland when traveling.
Oh, the best places in Scotland while traveling. Well, let's see. We've talked about a couple of them, which I haven't actually been, but like Harrison Lewis, apparently very nice. Places that I've been though. I mean, whenever my friends say they come to Scotland, I say to them, right, have a few days. You can do a good amount in 4 days, right? Have a base somewhere for a couple of days. So say if you're staying in Glasgow, right? You get the train over to Edinburgh for the day, and you do Edinburgh stuff for the day. You see all the lovely things. I love Edinburgh, for that. It's a very picturesque place, especially from a geography point of view, because I love geography, like natural geography, like Arthur's Seat and everything. It's just so cool. So you spend the day there, and then you have your night out in Glasgow, because I feel like the nights out are
Dirty night out.
way better in Glasgow than they are in Edinburgh, and the people are nicer, I think. Glasgow's motto is "People make Glasgow," and they definitely do. And then once you've done those two, I mean, going up to Inverness is always cool. If you rent a car, you can drive up there. You see some lovely stuff. Spend a day in Inverness or so, and then you can go even more north than that. See some of the, in Glencoe, for instance, Fort William, that kind of area.
Hebrides as
Hebrides,
well.
Skye.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. There's so many. Maybe you need more than 4 days.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue, isn't it? It's like there's always going to be, even for people that live here, there's always so much to explore. It's incredible. Okay, Taylor_Ann95 says, what's your favorite scene you've shot on? And she uses the analogy bomb, which we're not allowed to use anymore.
You can't say bomb. Favorite scenes. Yeah, I've said this before, but I think the last one in episode 6, I think was just really, really nice. And again, anyone where you're working with a baby, it's so nice because you don't have to act.
It's natural.
You just don't have to. Like, it just grounds you in the scene, and it's just so sweet. And then if you're feeling emotional, you just like look at a baby just lying there. You see its little eyes. You're just, it's a tearjerker.
That's something actually. Did you find it hard to cry on command?
My character doesn't really. I mean, I personally don't. I think it's fine. But Brian doesn't. He gets emotional a couple of times. And in that scene as well, I think we did a take where I was crying, but they used a different take. I don't think they want to see Brian cry, although I have tried. No, I generally don't, because if I feel like the goal of a scene isn't to cry, right? A lot of actors will be like, oh, well, I have to cry here because it says cry. But if you're just, that's very superficial. If it doesn't mean anything, like you can see crocodile tears from a mile away. You know what I mean? And there's ways to get around that as well. Like people like put shit in their eye to make it look like they're crying or whatever. I've never used that. I've always thought that the emotion, the reason why you would be crying is way more important. And some takes, tears don't come, and sometimes they do. But it still is just as powerful, even if you're not crying. Like if you can feel what that person's feeling, then that's all. That's enough for the most part.
What is the stuff they put in their eyes?
It's called a tear stick. So it's called almost like, Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah.
So imagine putting that like on your eyes, and then they just will like,
oh my God.
It makes it all watery.
On that note, have you tried smelling salts?
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
I was just looking at them.
Why do you have smelling salts? Is it just to wake you up heavy in case you're...
It's such a long story. I got them, and then who was it? Did you watch rugby?
Uh-huh.
It was Jamie Batty, who's one of the like big boys,
Yeah.
the really big boys, and I've been pals with him for a while. And we did it, and I was like, Jamie, be careful, because these are really strong smelling salts. He was like, and he did them, and he just started crying. It was so bad. It's just like, oh my God.
Oh man.
Okay, so there's a lot about the books here. Okay, Bonnie Tute says, if you lived back then, what do you think you would miss most about life today?
Oh, my family.
That's a biggie.
What would I miss? I think first of all, it would be a blessing and a curse. Like I would miss not being able to get into contact with people like immediately because of a phone. But in the same vein, it would also be really nice not to have a phone and to have to make an effort to see people. So to write them a letter or to travel to the next village on your horse to go and see them, you'd actually miss people, and you'd have things to talk about all the time when you're catching up because you hadn't just been texting, Yeah. So I think, I would miss that, but at the same time be kind of grateful for it.
Yeah, phones are a blessing and a curse, for sure.
Certainly.
The amount of sex questions. _cookie says, what do you think of Outlander the original? Which character do you like most from Blood of My Blood?
I loved the original one. I think it was really cool. I think they did a great job over the course of, 7 seasons so far. And that show has been in, these guys' lives for, I think Sam, for him, like it's been 11 or 12 years now.
Oh my God.
It's like a significant chunk of his life, his career, and for him to still love what he does and not get jaded by it, because it'd be so easy just to see it as a job and you just pitch up and you don't put an effort in anymore. But it doesn't seem to be the case, with the majority of those guys. So I love how much they still love what they do. And then my favorite character from Blood of My Blood, it's got to be Murtaugh, Brian's cousin and best friend. Rory Alexander, who plays Murtaugh.
I followed him, and
he's brilliant. He's such a lovely guy. He's such a great conversationalist. He would actually be great to have on. Like you'd have some great conversation with him. He's brilliant. Yeah.
I'll need to tag. I did follow him because I think he's a character for sure. How did you learn to match Sam Heughan's voice so well? It says Ames Teach.
Well, this is the thing. It's like I didn't. It's just casting just knew what they were doing.
And Scottish accent.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And he's from Dumfries, so different from Glasgow. But I mean, he went to RCS, up here. So it's definitely not as strong. But yeah, I think we just speak similar, in life. And when we first met, I'd been told all the time that we'd been very similar, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And I met him, and after we got talking for like 5 minutes, I was like, shit, we are actually kind of similar.
We're the same.
like not even just, it wasn't so much like the way that we looked or talked or anything, but just like personality wise and things like that. We just had a lot of crossover in that. And I was only going to meet for like a 15-20 minute coffee or something. We ended up chatting for like an hour or something, and just shooting the shit, So yeah, we're quite similar in that respect anyway. So yeah, like I said, I haven't done anything to do mannerisms or speech patterns or whatever, but it's casting knew what they were doing.
Good. Okay. Give us more than this isn't a question, but give us more than 3 seasons, please, says Destinia SH. Is there anything more than
if we get renewed for a 3rd season, that would be fantastic. I think that's the plan. I mean, obviously we're always hoping for another one, so they're always planning for it, but we don't know how 2nd season is going to be responded to. But if it's anything to go by, I think we're going to be here for a while.
Good
Fingers crossed.
Ari Safakas. I'm so sorry about these pronunciations. Oh, this is interesting. Will you audition for the next James Bond?
I fucking hope so. It'd be great. With the contracts and stuff, what you're able to do is quite limited. And with something like James Bond, like that's another one which you'd be, tied up for another 10 years or so, kind of doing that. So if it would work contractually, I'm not sure, but I would even just love to be in the room, to be in consideration, just to even put a tape down to read for it, because then you can say that you read for it. And, I think it's just like so iconic and so cool that I don't know who would say no to that.
Have you seen all the tapes of other actors that have gone for James Bond? Like Henry Cavill is one of them. It's like, it's actually really cool to see they're different, because they're all saying the same thing. It's the name's Bond, James Bond. But
well, this is what I was talking about, the chemistry reads, right? It's like it's the exact same words, but it's the essence of the person, with what they're bringing to it. And those ones in particular are so good.
Yeah. It's just so interesting to see the exact same thing said in an entirely different way.
Have you seen the ones for Batman?
No.
They're really good. So there's screen tests with Christian Bale, Cillian Murphy, and Matthew Bomer, I think. Again, doing the same scenes, and they do like a proper screen test, so like they're in costume and things like that. And it is really cool to see what is what they kind of do differently.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that they loved Cillian Murphy so much, but he just wasn't right for
the Batman.
That was Christian Bale, but they brought him in for Scarecrow, and he was the bad guy in the first one.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's done it right for himself.
Cillian Murphy.
He's brilliant, eh?
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, his performance is, it's his eye. I get lost in his eyes.
Always thinking.
Okay, there's actually a lot about James Bond here, but we'll skip a couple.
Yeah.
There's physical training. We've kind of covered that. Okay, Courtney Jane Baisley says, how has life changed since the show premiered in August?
How has life changed? In some ways, it's changed a lot, and then in other respects, it hasn't that much. I think, I still go to work most days. That's not changed. There's a whole new online presence in things, which has definitely changed because didn't have that, when the show came out 2.5 months ago. And that's cool to see that people are responding to it and, liking it. It's nice to be able to go to the supermarket and if you see something that you like, not have to worry about how much it is. That's such a privilege. I think that's because I had never been financially secure really up until this job. Like I said, when I was living in LA, it was every month I'd be like, all right, how are we going to make rent and things? And I didn't like asking people for money, parents or friends or whatever, but I was always very like, I can make this work. So when I got my first paycheck and was able to go to the supermarket and not have to like think about how much I was spending, not that I was like being frivolous, I don't really like frivolous spending at all, but that's when I realized I was quite financially secure, was that I could go to the supermarket and I could buy what I wanted just because I liked it. And that was such a nice, I was like, this is all I want. Like, like I can buy organic beef and organic eggs and not, feel like, oh, I can't buy anything else for the rest of the week. Yeah. How else has life changed? Oh yeah. And apart from like getting recognized and things like that. So obviously, I have to make sure that I'm mostly behaved when I'm on a night out. Don't drink too much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
One for me, I suppose off the back of that, what has been the darkest time?
The darkest time. I think some of the dark times happen when you kind of get lost in an online hole and you start reading one comment and then you're like, oh, I'll read another one, and you like start deep diving into like what people are saying because you want to see if the people like the show or not. And the internet's a wonderful but also a horrible place at times, and there's certain things which I wish I hadn't seen online about certain people and myself, and the fact that people had to feel the need to comment this, like take time out of their day to write a page essay on why they think this show is the worst thing in the world. And those are, I'm quite thick-skinned, and I know this is like the vast majority, but it just makes me feel sorry for the people who feel like they have to type that and that people want to read that and hear that, because nobody does. So I feel like there's been a couple of times where I've really got lost in a couple of rabbit holes online, and you kind of come out the end of it after being on your phone for like an hour straight and like, oh, I feel pretty shit about myself, and then I go a walk and shrug it off.
Don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments.
If you want any advice, just don't read them, because
I've gotten better at that now.
Just honestly, because the minority will shout the loudest.
Exactly.
And it's but also our brains are hardwired to be attracted to the negative thing. Like if you can imagine as a caveman, there's like a lion outside the tent, and so, you're going to be anxious about it because a fucking lion outside the tent. But if you say it's going to be a sunny day tomorrow, you're not going to be anxious about it. And newspaper articles actually dine out on this because everything's negative, because they understand that gets clicks. So your brain will instantly go to the one thing that's horrible, and it's just not worth reading them.
And I've definitely found that, like, you actively search for negative things, like sometimes.
Like what? Yeah, you search your own name up, and you're like, well, who's got something bad to say?
Exactly.
Okay. So, what future projects are in store for you?
There's a couple in the works just now, if they pan out, which I'll get on to as soon as we stop filming. We finished filming at Christmas time, so I have a few months of doing nothing until hopefully we go again. If we do go again for season 3, unfortunately I can't talk about them, but there's some things in the works.
Things in the pipeline.
Are very exciting.
Good. Okay, there's a couple. I'm going to merge these because there are a couple, and I'm also wondering this. Mm-hmm. How do you get your hair so luscious?
A great hair and makeup team. I never was a hair guy, but like seeing the amount of like hair questions and things and that people would say. I started an interview like with the press like a couple of months ago, and she's like, okay, the first question I have to ask you is, what do you do for your hair? And I was like, well, I actually have a little routine now, you know, like I shampoo and I condition it, but then I've got like this oil that I put in it, like it's like rosemary hip oil or something. Is that what it is? It's by this brand called what's it called?
Rosemary. It's rosemary oil, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's I'm blanking on the brand. It's really annoying. Oh, it'll come back to me. Where they have this like lovely oil and they come in like little pellets,
right?
And you squeeze it, and then the pellets are dissolvable, so like you just throw them in the toilet and go away. And then I put in this stuff. It's called like milk hair serum,
right?
By this brand, small one in LA called Rose, ROZ, and that stuff not only smells incredible, but like just makes your hair like lovely and just. And yeah, so you put all those together with a great person who knows what you're doing with your hair. And good hair days for life. Amazing.
Have you ever tried, this is for guys that are going bald, but also it's really good for like thickening up hair, is minoxidil.
No, I haven't.
So minoxidil essentially just pushes the blood to your scalp. So guys that are losing their hair, it's because, you know, there's not enough blood going on, and also testosterone. But you can use minoxidil to prevent it, but it also makes your hair thicker. But you need to use it every day, which is annoying because you need to spray it on, but it really helps. You can see thickening up your hair. It's really good.
Cool.
Okay, so next up, we've got... They're not really questions. Crazy Moza. I don't really understand this one, but maybe you do. Crazy_Moza says, can he come to the LandCon 8 next year in Paris?
Oh yeah, so that's one of the big Outlander conventions.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know if I can say, but stay tuned on that one.
Maybe we'll leave it. Maybe. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Last batch. Wow. Okay. I'm trying not to get cancelled here with some of these questions. Auditioning process, we've kind of done that. Okay, Taylor_Ann95 says, what's the weirdest food you've ever ate?
The weirdest food? I had a scorpion on a stick when I was in Hong Kong one time.
Class.
Yeah, crunchy, not much taste. But I could say I've eaten a scorpion.
Nice. Okay, there's also, same person, different question. What's the weirdest date you've ever been on?
No, weirdest date. Oh gosh,
you must have some clangers. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man, thankfully I've not been on too many bad dates. There was a couple when I was in LA, but I dated this. I went out on one date with this girl, and we met online, and she was an actor. So I was like, okay, cool, we'll have something in common. She would not stop talking about acting the entire night. And I would give her the benefit of the doubt, right? I was like, okay, cool, right? It's something that we can bond over to start with, but like, let's,
branch out,
digress on something else. And so I was just coming up with like the most obscure things I could talk about, just far away from acting as possible. And she would still find some way to bring it back to acting. And I was like, fuck, man, like what? It's like, because it's just, some people love talking about that, but I just, I really, it's fine talking for a wee bit, but then
it's when your job as well. It's
exactly.
Come on.
Can you imagine like two dentists going out and being like, so what's your favorite tooth? What's your second favorite tooth? Do you have a favorite toothbrush? Yeah, I like to hold it in my left hand sometimes. Like, fucking hell, yeah, it's the exact same as that. So yeah, that was a weird one. And then I went on like a brunch date one time, and I get totally catfished. She looked nothing like her profile, and I was just like, oh. And to be fair, I didn't do great. She ordered food. Actually, now I'm thinking about this. I didn't. This is bad on me. But she catfished me. But so we were getting food, and waiter comes up and I was you can go first, ladies first. So she's like, okay, I'll have the French toast and I'll get bacon on the side. And then he was like, for you? I was like, I'll just have a black coffee, please.
I want out of here.
She was like, are you not getting food? I was like, no.
I'm really not feeling it.
But she looked so different to her picture.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you've done this to yourself. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just gonna, and I'm not gonna just try and get away. I'm gonna enjoy my coffee, and you can enjoy your French toast with added bacon.
Yeah, have a good time.
But like, you know,
it's not going any further.
And she was like, I had such a great time after. Can we see each other again? I was like, I don't think so.
I've finished my coffee now.
I'm gonna be away that weekend.
That's the thing with social media, especially with online dating. Like, you need to be honest. If you want it to work, you need to be honest. And if you're putting up a photo that you've doctored and photoshopped and you slendered yourself or whatever you do,
what do you expect, man? People are gonna see you in real life at some point. You know what I mean?
So
yeah.
It's
Some people.
I know. Francis Cohern / says, what's been the most unexpected or memorable moment for you while filming?
Oh, the most unexpected or memorable. That's a good one as well. Again, I mean, I know I keep talking about it, but like unexpected, like the last scene in 6, I didn't think that was gonna hit me as hard personally, because I think we both like started crying after we finished that. So I didn't expect that, how emotional that was gonna feel. Well, actually, we just filmed something in season 2, which was highly emotional, and I expected it to be like that, but then after, I just completely broke down. I gave who I was working with, I don't want to say because it's spoilers, but I gave who I was working with like this massive, I was going to say cuddle, but a hug, and I was just on their chest, and I was getting really weepy, and I was like, fucking hell, where'd that come from? So it was really memorable. And yeah, when you're working with like such good people like that, and they're giving you, because one camera most of the time, right? And it's like your coverage and it's my coverage, or vice versa. They give you everything when it's not, the camera's not on them. Some actors don't do that. They just say their lines and, you have nothing to work off. But everyone on this show is so good and being so generous with their acting, that's led to all these lovely moments where you're like, oh wow, I didn't think this was going to be as emotional as it was. So yeah, there's been plenty of those, I think, dotted around.
Good. That's a good answer. Lots about James Bond. There's more about... okay, we'll do the last couple now. Yannick Teogo says...
You're killing it with these names, man.
No, man. What was the most challenging part about playing Brian Fraser?
The most challenging part was having to, I think, follow the script sometimes, because what I mean by that is Brian is so he's a pragmatist, and he's also he doesn't like violence so much, and that's not his first port of call. He'd rather ask questions first and then punch someone. Whereas there's been some things sometimes during season 1 where I'm like, if someone spoke to me like that, I'd just lamp them. Like I would just take my dirk out, like our knife, and just stab them. But the amount of restraint that I've had to be like, and try and rationalize in my head, like why would I not, just punch him here, or grab him by the throat, or do something else that the script doesn't say. I think that's been the hardest part. And there are reasons for that, as the story goes, like Brian doesn't want to do anything that is going to put other people in danger. So by, doing what he would really want to do does end up putting people in danger if he did that. So that's kind of how I got around it. But the relationship he has with his father, like, he's literally an abused kid and has been abused for all his life. I'm like, God, I would just push this guy down the stairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, whoops, like, sorry. So I think, yeah, that was probably the hardest thing.
Are you allowed to go off script?
Yeah, we do. Most of the time, we have a script supervisor on set, so
Right.
she'll be who's fantastic at her job. She's so good at keeping us right, and there'll be sometimes we'll change the odd word and things, and you know she'll pick us up for it. But sometimes we'll improvise. Like there's a couple of times that I improvised during season 1 with some words, and they kept it in. You know, so
Yeah.
I think as long as I've got a take or 2 takes where you're saying all the words on the paper,
Yes.
then I think at least I give myself the freedom to, you know, if something comes out, then keep it in.
Yeah.
Like in episode 4, I think, when Brian and Julia are going on the wee mission to Castle Leoch, and Julia says to Brian, my feet are aching, and Brian says, oh, your feet. That wasn't scripted. I just found it funny that, you know, she was complaining about her feet when it was like we're meant to be there because our arms got a rash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, your feet. Oh, well, what about your rash?
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about that at the time. It just kind of came out.
Yeah.
And then they kept it, you know. So those little things are quite fun when you see them that they've kept in. Or there was one where I was with my horse in episode 7, maybe. And I've just been like berated by my dad and by Lovett. And he walks away. And then the camera's on me. And this only happened one take, and it was a take that they used. The horse where I was next to comes in and literally like noses me like that, like, hey man, it's okay. He only did that on one take, and then I kind of had this moment with the horse and looked up and like, right, go time, and then stormed off. And then they kept that.
Yeah.
And that was so cool, you know. So it's like working with animals, working with babies. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they give you something, and as long as you're present and react to it, then you get these lovely moments like that, which, you know, they keep in.
So did you know how to horse ride?
No, not before this.
Oh, you had to learn for this.
But I love horses. They're so cool.
Yeah, but pretty scary. Like they could.
They're massive. They're so big.
Yeah, yeah. My mum, you might know this, you might not, but you know the ball and socket joint that's in your big toe. A horse stood in that and crushed it. Like as the bone shattered.
Holy shit!
And she didn't, because adrenaline, you don't know. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like the horse did it. It just stood in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Now that's how scary. Like to me, horses are beautiful beasts. But their size is just
so
terrifying.
big,
Yeah, it's just terrifying. So you're not scared at all?
There's been times where like, yeah, not during set, but like practice, I almost fell off one time because we were going like down this river, and instead when we went down the river, like it's a little valley, right? So it's like kind of like that, and then the river's here. And the first time we went over it, he could have stepped down and then went up, and I was prepared for it, and I was like, cool. This when we were coming back, he fucking just jumped over. And I didn't, so I was just chilling, waiting for him just to, you know, sitting back as he's going to go down.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, whoo, jumps, and I was like, fuck, like literally hanging off the side, like, ah. And so I was a wee bit scared there.
Yeah.
And the guys who, on the horses, they're just like the coolest dudes ever. They're just, you know, not
Phased by it.
they're not phased. They're like,
Yeah.
you all right, mate? I'm like, balls have shot up into the sand.
All right, okay. Right, last one, and then we'll get off these questions. So, there's... Okay, this is a bit more tame. Char_/27 says, what would be your dream girl? Also, what was your favorite part about filming Bomb? Let's just strip out the favorite part because we've kind of covered that. What would be your dream girl?
my dream girl. Oh man. Gosh. When I was younger, I used to have this massive crush on Natalie Portman.
Wow, yeah.
She was probably Natalie Portman was my sexual awakening.
A lot of guys' sexual awakenings.
Yeah. When I saw her in the, it's probably the Phantom Menace, and then in episode 2, Clone Wars, I was like, and that must have definitely coincided with puberty. I think I was like, wow, she's pretty perfect. And I think now, 20 years on, or whatever it is, I would probably still say that she's pretty damn perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's aged amazingly well. Well.
Also, she's so talented as well.
Incredible actress.
Yeah.
Okay, can you say actress?
I say both. I think like it depends where you are. Like, so other people say actor because, you know, gender preferences, whatever, and some people say actress, but they're just like, well, all actors are the same, whatever. So I normally just cover my bases and say actors, actresses.
Yeah. Did you see what was her name? So there's the Wolf of Wall Street, Margot Robbie, who's just, it's incredible. Who was your? Do you have? I'm trying to figure out a way to ask this because you're probably not allowed to say. Do you have like a Hollywood crush?
I don't know. Apart from Natalie Portman, I don't know actually.
So I suppose it's a risk for you because you might actually work with.
Well, that's the thing. I'm hesitant to say because there's a couple of people who I find very attractive and they're very, very talented. I think talent is probably one of the most attractive things for me. You know, anyone can look good with makeup and things like that, but I really find someone who's very talented and very kind as well to be very, very attractive. I think that's just lovely, you know, a good human. And there's plenty of those in Hollywood and such, but yeah, I'm hesitant to name names just in case, you know, my next job is like, hey,
heard you fancy this person.
Yeah, so look who we've got for you.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for spending the time.
Mate, it's been a fucking lovely time. I've loved every second of it.
I appreciate it. Well, thanks so much.
Cheers, man.